Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. My name is Alex, and in this video I'll tell you about 4 foreigners arrested in the Philippines for illegal stay. H&M Philippines faces backlash after customer with disabled child turned away, a fatal massage, misbehaving foreigners, and more, beginning with our fan favorite, the USD to peso exchange rate. Right now, still looking about $1 equal to 58 pesos, just under 58 at 57.95. Let's jump straight into our main story. Immigration officials in the Philippines have arrested 4 foreign nationals in separate operations in Makati, Pasay, and Benguet for violations such as overstaying, illegal recruitment, and unauthorized employment. In Makati, Chinese national Fang Binbin was arrested for overstaying and suspected involvement in illegal recruitment. In Pasay, 2 Chinese nationals, Hui Ji and Li Ying, were caught working in seafood trading business unrelated to their working visas. And in Benguet, Korean National Park, Munhoon was detained for overstaying and working without a permit. These individuals were blacklisted and of course barred from re-entering. The BI doing what they can to get rid of these illegal and unwanted aliens. Staying in the Philippines gambling industry is expected to generate a record revenue of over 350 billion pesos, that's over $6 billion in 2024, surpassing its target of 334 billion and last year's of 285 billion gross gaming revenue. Manila's casino resort continues to attract high rollers from China, Japan, South Korea, and beyond, boosting the industry's performance. And of course, regulatory changes removing POGOs, illegal ones, have generated more revenue for the legal ones. Of course, this is a big thing in the Philippines now. Gambling is becoming a serious, industry, and I can personally see it becoming a problem in the future, but I guess as long as it's legal, it's not my place to say. What about you guys? Do you partake in these activities, games, casinos, online, poker, whatever? I know growing up I used to bet on sports a lot. I mean, 10, 20 bucks, nothing that would break the bank, of course, and nothing that would make me rich, but it was something to watch the sports with, or just playing poker with friends. I remember my first time going to a casino, I had 60 bucks in my pocket, and I ended up winning like 1,800, and I was like over the moon, and I was like 18 or 19 years old. I think I was 19. So then when I went back the next day, I lost my rent money and everything I won as well. So after that, I'm like, listen, it's not for me. So I just do a little bit just for fun, keep things spicy and interested. Leave your thoughts down below about your gambling or gaming experiences. And before we go on to our next story, take a second on your day. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'm working my way to 7,000 subscribers now. Here's our next story. Senator Risa Hontiveros has raised concerns about possible Chinese spies operating in the Philippines waters through dredging vessels. She cited incidents such as the Philippines Coast Guard finding 13 illegal Chinese workers in a People's Liberation Army uniform on a vessel in Bataan. The ship was owned by China Harbor Engineering Company, a state-run firm blacklisted by the US and WTO for militarization in the South China Sea. Whoa. Hontiveros also highlighted the previous case involving a Chinese crewed vessel falsely registered to Sierra Leone. She called for investigation into undocumented foreign workers and assessment of environmental damages caused by dredging and the termination of the contracts with blacklisted companies. The matter has been referred to the Senate Committee on National Defense for further investigation and action. I think one of the biggest problems with the Philippines is the fact that it's so scattered, right? All the islands, and people are coming from all angles with boats, ships, yachts, canoes, whatever. All jokes aside, but people can enter from pretty much anywhere, and it's really difficult to keep track of every vessel that's coming in, to actually look into them, who they are, what they're doing, who they got hiding underneath all that stuff. So Risa Hontiveros, I mentioned this before, she's like one of my favorite peoples right now in Philippine political scene, just because I just like her dedication and what she's trying to do. Just from an outsider perspective, I think she's pretty cool. Next up, H&M Philippines has apologized after a viral incident where a branch manager allegedly asked a Filipino family to leave due to the child's stroller. The parent explained that the stroller was necessary for the child, who was blind and deaf. H&M admitted to a misunderstanding and stated that their staff failed to recognize the stroller's purpose. The company is reviewing the incident, reminding staff of its accessibility policies and committing to a better service for all customers. The incident shared on social media by Aya Dineros highlighted the family's frustration and disappointment, especially since the child rarely goes out. The post has sparked significant reaction with over 81,000 likes and 18,000 shares. The Magna Carta for Disabled Persons prohibits discrimination against persons with disabilities in public accommodations such as stores. Violators will face penalties including fines and imprisonment. Okay, so I'll be honest, when I first saw that image, I'm like, whoa, what is that, right? And as a store manager, I'll definitely be concerned as who's bringing something that big if I've never seen such a stroller in my life. But after the family explained to you it's for the child who's deaf and blind, I personally, as a previous manager, would allow it. And all those staff standing around in the store can go ahead and accommodate, chaperone, and if you're that worried about them stealing stuff, follow them around, as a lot of people do anyway. So I think the fact that they turned her away is really disgraceful. I hope they, of course, I don't think the manager should be in prison or whatever, but I think definitely a great opportunity for H&M to go ahead and actually retrain their staff on people with disabilities. Also, I'm going to go ahead and leave the public apology from H&M right here. You guys can go ahead and pause this and read it yourself. I don't want to waste people's time if they don't want to hear about that portion. You can pause it, read it. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think? Who do you think is in the right? The manager, because, you know, it's a big stroller. They might be concerned about theft or whatever. Or do you think this person and their family deserves a little bit more respect? And tell me what you think the solution should be. Personally, I think this is a great opportunity for H&M to come out and give them like some kind of store credit. Make sure they have a great shopping experience. Retrain the staff and let everybody know that whoever, regardless of disability, can join in shopping experience at H&M without having any discrimination towards you. Next up, Cebu City Mayor Raymond Alvin Garcia has urged hotels, restaurants, and resorts to avoid raising their rates during Sinulog Festival in January 2025 to keep the event affordable for domestic and foreign visitors. Although price hikes are common during major events, Garcia emphasized maintaining reasonable pricing. The Sinulog Grand Parade and Ritual Showdown will return to the Cebu City Sports Center on January 19th, 2025 after being held at South Road Properties in previous years. Over 35 contingents are expected to participate, including 10 from outside Cebu, 13 from Cebu City, and 3 from Cebu Province. For the first time, Lapu-Lapu City will join the Sinulog competition with nearly 500 participants. Sinulog is a massive festival in Cebu. If you've never been to one of these, I highly recommend it. The whole city goes wild. It's crazy, like parades and parties and, you know, just like big celebration, singing, music. Is to honor and celebrate the baby Jesus, Santo Nino. So yeah, pretty cool if you've never experienced it. Naturally, the prices of the hotels, everything will go up. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's like kind of expected or should be from travelers' perspective, but I also understand that, you know, domestic travelers or people that don't earn so much can actually have a really bad experience trying to book something during that period. My suggestion, book ahead, book early, and try to stay somewhere that's not requiring you to drive very far, because the traffic can get really crazy during that time. Have you been to Sinulog? Do you know what I'm talking about? Does it look interesting to you? Share your thoughts down below regarding Sinulog Cebu. I'd love to hear it. Let's go on to our next story. Next up, the Camotes Island Airport Terminal broke ground Tuesday, December 10th, signaling a new era of tourism, jobs, and economic opportunities for the islands. With 120 million pesos in initial funding and support from key leaders, the project promises to transform Camotes. The airport is situated on a 27-hectare property owned by the Cebu provincial government. When it is completed, it is expected to accommodate passenger and private planes, 70 to 80 passengers. I was supposed to go to Camotes Island one time, but something happened with the ferry. I went to the wrong port. Or even though I called and I made sure and all that, it was like 5 a.m. and I just didn't bother to go to the next ferry because it was like, or the next port, which was like an hour away. I'm like, yeah, next time. So yeah, Camotes, I hear it's beautiful. I hear it's wonderful. Great to see they have an airport coming up soon. Hopefully it can drive some more tourism and more money for the locals in the future. Our next few stories are from Thailand. This is a tragic one. A 20-year-old Thai folk singer, Chayada, passed away on December 8th due to brain swelling allegedly caused by a repeated neck-twisting massage at a wellness parlor in Udon Thani, Thailand. Chayada sought treatment in October for shoulder pain but experienced worsening symptoms after multiple sessions, including neck pain, paralysis, and swelling. By mid-November, she was bedridden and unable to move. Her family attempted to sue the massage center but reportedly lacked evidence. When this story broke out, it's heartbreaking to know such a young lady with such talent. Anyone that loses their life over a massage. I was a little bit hesitant or skeptical, to be honest, but then I read some more information which I think is very important for you guys to hear in case you're just more curious about the story. And now the masseuse, who gave her name only as Oi, expressed shock upon hearing the news of Chayada's passing. The 20-year-old singer had reportedly visited the shop in Udon Thani 3 times starting early October to get help for a stiff neck. Oi said she was unsure if she had personally treated Chayada, as the incident occurred over 2 months ago. She could not remember all her clients. Quote, "I was so shocked when I heard that I was the masseuse," she said. "I have a massage therapist license. I have been a masseuse for years and I've never faced such situation before. I'm asking for fairness and I'm ready to prove the truth." The shop where Chayada was treated has 7 licensed therapists, all of whom have completed 150 hours of training session as the law requires. Doctors, however, meanwhile said after the autopsy that her passing was due to sepsis and fungal infection with no confirmation linking her passing to the massage. Meanwhile, Public Health Minister Somsak said an MRI scan found no evidence of cervical bone fractures or dislocations, confirming that the case was not linked to a massage. A source familiar with the case says Chiara's mother still has some questions about whether neck manipulation could have contributed to the conditions that ultimately led to her passing. However, after discussing the matter with relatives, she reportedly decided not to seek another autopsy. Her daughter's cremation is scheduled to take place on Wednesday. May she rest in peace. A few things. Personally, I don't like massages, especially the ones that they bend you and turn you, and my neck and my spine are very sensitive to me. I'm not saying I fear something like that happening, but it has been always at the back of my mind whenever you see those like chiropractors on social media, viral videos, they exaggerately twist people's necks. I've seen Van Damme do that stuff in movies, man. I don't want nobody doing that to my neck. I just wanted to cover both sides because a lot of the mainstream just tell you the passing incident and connect to the neck massage because it's a catchy headline. Even I've done it at the beginning of this video, right? So the point is, it's good to have all the information. Plus, if her family's okay with it, I think we should as well. But it's one of those situations where like, you don't really know the truth, right? I mean, it's hard to connect. But tell me, how do you feel about this? Do you think the massage has something to do with it? Or do you think this was just a freak incident? Because recently there was another Singaporean tourist not long ago, after receiving a massage, she collapsed and tragically lost her life as well shortly after a massage. So next up, on December 10th, a tragic incident occurred in Pattaya when 52-year-old Finnish national Tero Sakari Karppinen fell from 11th floor of a condominium, resulting in his passing. The incident happened along Pattaya Second Road, prompting a quick response from local authorities and rescue teams. Preliminary findings suggest that fall could have been accidental or intentional, but investigations are ongoing to ascertain the exact circumstances. The body has been sent to autopsy. Another fallen tourist from Pattaya condo or hotel. You know, this phenomenon has been going on for a long time now, not just recently. If you guys watch any of these videos, I'm sure I've covered 10 by now, but this happens quite often. Theories range from anywhere with people doing it themselves, maybe the companion, mafia. It's just very high number. It's just definitely not a coincidence. So maybe it's just the environment. People get into all that stuff, substances and life situations. Who knows, but sad story still. Next up, misbehaving tourists. A viral video showing a tourist standing outside a moving car in Phuket while drinking beer and smoking has faced heavy criticism online. Social media users raised concerns about the driver's accountability and the safety risks involved. Locals are urging stricter measures to address reckless actions in popular tourist destinations. And then next up, a man without any clothes was seen walking in a Phuket hotel. An intoxicated tourist was seen walking nude through a Phuket hotel, sparking criticism online. The incident shared on Facebook page has sparked discussion about tourist conduct amid relaxed visa policies. Local residents urged greater accountability to uphold their laws and rules, and the security escorted him and asked him to put on some clothes. Next up, in a heartfelt display of parental love, Longlek Wanjigjaya, an 85-year-old partially blind Thai man, walked for 14 days from Nakhon Ratchasima to Chonburi in search of his son, whom he hasn't seen nearly a decade. After learning his son had moved, Longlek spent all his money on motorcycle taxi fares, leaving him with just 8 baht. Despite challenges including blindness in one eye, he relied on the kindness of strangers for food, water, clothes during his journey. Thanks to a reporter and generous minibus owner, Longlek safely returned to his hometown. Agencies are now stepping in to help him reunite with his son. I will keep that in mind the next time I have to walk anywhere, and shame on me for not walking more. And just look at this man, so motivational. Good for him. I hope he finds his son and reunites with him. And now it's time for our segment Yesterday Today, where I read some of the most popular comments regarding our previous video. Portland GTR says, the way the BI stops women from leaving is a shame. I've always hated it. A grown woman that gets approved by the USA for a travel visa will be automatically denied unless she can show she has 500,000 pesos from a job in her account. Plus, she has to have strong family roots and property. And even with all that, the Philippines will still likely deny her if she's between 18 and 30 years old. It's ridiculous how they keep their own citizens down and don't want them to do anything that a person with the power may not be able to afford or be able to do. Philippines passport is basically worthless to a woman under 30. This comment is about pretty much offloading, which happens to many people trying to leave the country. I completely agree with that comment. Jess says, seen a volcano eruption back in 1991 when I was stationed at Nas Kubi Point the day after Mount Pinatubo blew. We woke up on the moon. 18 inches of heavy volcanic ash blanketed everything. Whoa. I was not expecting to read that. Sounds insane. Well, thank you for sharing. If you guys want to share any of your thoughts, leave them down below. If you take the time to write it, I'll take the time to respond. And that's it for this video. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Oh, from now on, I'll try to include something in the end that I find funny throughout my daily life. Maybe you guys think it's funny too.